Three, two, one.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
All right, cool. Gonna say 3, 2, 1, record, and we'll jump in. All right.
Cool.
All right. 3, 2, 1, record. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Oh God, we're at Breaking Dawn Part 1. Only one more to go.
It's like a boxing match when you get to the 11 between the final round. It's like I don't know if I can do this, coach.
Right, exactly. This is like right when you're playing a game you're about to get carpal tunnel and you're trying to but this is Hunter here. Thank you so much for listening. Got a review for Breaking Dawn Part 1. God help us all. And I'm here with friend of the podcast from the Afternoon Tune, which you can check out wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on Twitch and YouTube. I've got Nick here. Nick, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. We're recording clips and Breaking Dawn back to back, and I finally got my coffee, and there's whiskey in here.
Oh, there you go. That's a good call. It's funny. I'm not a big whiskey drinker. Unless I have it with a steak. I will have whiskey with a steak. That's
steak and whiskey. That's like, oof. It's wonderful.
Steak and whiskey is the shit. But we are talking about the worst Twilight film, not without New or Moon in the title for me, because this is basically vampire couples retreat, and it's like without the very occasional laughs of couples retreat. This is just a bad movie. Like, just nothing happens.
It's just a bland, boring, milquetoast ass vacation video that is only watchable if you're drinking and talking shit about it the entire film.
Yeah,
which I did.
I actually watched this. I watched this like a dad sneaking porn. I actually watched this like at 6 a.m. this morning because my partner was able to sleep. I was fucking awake, and my partner, God bless her, because she watches a lot of the movies with me. She was like, "Hey, babe, like, is there a way you could try to watch the Twilight movies without me being awake?" I'm like, all right, fair enough. So I was at my computer, headphones on, cat looking at me like, "Why are you watching this, Dad, not on the big screen?" It's like, yeah.
It's like your cat's looking at you. Jesus, what do you have to be ashamed about?
Right, I know. He's like, "I know you clean my litter boxes. I know you used to shit work, but
Jesus, what do you have that look of shame on your face?"
Right, I definitely feel more shame watching Breaking Dawn Part 1 than clean my cat's litter box. But so this is directed by Bill Condon, which I completely forgot Bill Condon did directed one of these. Like, oh, that's right.
He didn't direct one. He directed 2 of them.
Oh, that's right, because he
directed the last 2.
That's I fucking forgot about
that.
Yeah,
yes, the director of such wonderful stuff like Dreamgirls, stuff like Chicago, and less good stuff like the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, see what's funny is I like the live action Beauty and the Beast. I fully acknowledge it's the whole Disney being whores. Like, hey, how can we make more money by putting in minimum effort? Unlike the opposite of Deadpool. But I like the Beauty and the Beast remake. I love Kinsey. I think Kinsey's a great fucking movie, and I wish more people will have seen it. But if you haven't seen Kinsey, I would recommend you do. But but this movie, though, it's the wedding that we've been, quote, waiting for, unquote. Bella finally gets married to Edward, and
because of course, this character's entire sense of identity revolves around this very toxic relationship with this 100-year-old man.
Yeah, exactly. I do love the fact that they show Bella's mom getting the wedding invite, and she's all like, "Oh snap!" And they showed Charlie getting it, and he's just drinking. He's just like,
yeah, and Charlie getting it, and he's just like doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's just like
cracking one open. And that's what I always joked, if like any vampire actually did bite Charlie, they just would go, how much beer do you drink, man?
Right, exactly. Like you get the vampire drunk off the bite.
At the direct blood.
So, but here's what's dumb. Jacob, Shark Boy, he loses.
It's hilarious. It's like he sees the wedding invite, he just throws it down on the ground, rips off his shirt, and just sprints off into the woods to, I guess, footloose dance or like form a circle jerk around with his other wolf buddies.
If it cut to Rod doing his angry dancing and hot rod in the woods, it would have made more sense than what Jacob does here. Because Jacob takes off, exposes himself, phrasing, to this couple driving. So this couple knows werewolves exist because he hits the middle of a street. They swerve to not hit him, and then he runs off. And there's no way, if you're not that couple, you don't go, that was a giant fucking wolf, even for like wolf standards. It's weird. And
the man's rage and horniness has just doubled his size as a wolf.
Yeah, it's really absurd. So just to jump in here, so my future ex-wife, Alice, of course, played by Ashley Greene. So maybe the books do. I don't remember them. The movies don't, because why the fuck would they? The Cullens have been around so long, they're just rich, I guess. Alice, the way she puts this wedding together, why she's not a wedding coordinator is fucking ridiculous, because this wedding, it's
absurdly gorgeous.
Yeah, like it's not as good as the wedding in Crazy Rich Asians. Like it's not.
Nothing can touch that wedding.
That is my favorite wedding.
I actually gave a shit about the characters in that wedding. So
I mean that too. But the decorations in that are just oh my god, fucking pristine. But this is a very good honorable mention. Like it's well fucking done. And Alice, first off, considering how bad she wants to fuck Bella, the fact she's so into this wedding is kind of adorable. I mean, that's some of the best acting right there. But Edward gets taken.
Oh, you mean Alice pretending she doesn't want to just throw Kristen Stewart on the bed and just munch down on that?
Right, exactly. Like she should have been a woman Turner, but just but there's a scene early on where Bella and Edward are hanging out in her room, and he's like, all right, Mrs. Cullen, I'll see you at the altar, which I actually thought was a cute line. I was like, okay, I'll give you that. But then it goes to Edward and Jasper taking him away for his bachelor party. And
which what the fuck would a vampire bachelor party be?
Exactly. Why not show me that? That is actually an interesting. Like when they say that, I went. Yeah,
you mean actually have a moment between like a lot of the male castmates that wasn't just a dick measuring contest of who wants to fuck this boring teenager more?
I mean, yeah, it'd be a nice change of pace, considering we're getting closer to wrapping these up. But yeah, there's no. Oh, and before that even happens, I forgot to mention that Edward calling back, kind of, sort of, but not really, to the first film where he talks about, my scent, my look, everything is tailor-made to draw you in. And then he goes, oh, by the way, I used to kill people. Did I forget to mention that? Oh, yeah, I used to kill people. And
yeah, I used to be a vigilante. I used to be a vengeful vigilante with no parents, and I'm super rich now.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, exactly. My name
Dun,
was
dun, dun,
right.
dun,
My
dun.
name was Edward Wayne.
The entire time I was just hearing Giacchino's Batman score, just dun, 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 dun,
When you
dun.
hear him say it, it's hilarious that he's playing Batman now. It's like, wow, they were setting this shit up back then. They didn't even know.
And just him in that flashback, I could see a lot of Bruce Wayne there.
Oh, absolutely. The hat notwithstanding, but yeah, like it came across very
again a scene that is setting up a movie I'd much rather be watching.
Yeah, because we're both hyped for Pattinson's Batman, but this is no way.
This is like that. This is like Summit edging us until we get the fucking until March 4th, 2022.
Right. So we have to bring up, but Bella is just so nonplussed. She's like, oh,
he's nonplussed. Oh, they were bad people, right? I mean, fuck, I don't know. I don't got a criminology degree.
I mean, let's be clear. I mean, Frank Castle says the same thing. He's always like they're all bad. Were they? Yeah. Like a guy named the Punisher lied to you. It's like, yeah, of course you're gonna say they're all bad people. Like, give me that.
What a guy that dresses up like a bat. I mean,
exactly. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. But I always just kind of roll my eyes at that shit. It's like, come on, girl, you have to know that he was killing people that were not supposed to be killed. But
I mean, come on. I know we've had like 4 other movies where you've just constantly demonstrated your ineptness or just complete unwillingness to look at red flags, but
right.
Come on, he's like giving you an out right now.
Yeah, he really is. And she's just like, yep, nope, totally fine. Like dumb. But going back to Charlie real quick. So everyone shows up for the wedding. And
Charlie is, and they don't even hide the fucking display of like the hundreds of graduation caps, which one, if you're like immortal and trying to blend in and you're not having people at your house, okay, I get it then.
Yeah.
But this is like the second time you've had some normies inside your house. Why don't you hide that shit?
Yeah, it's very much like Nicolas Cage in Bangkok Dangerous when he lays out all those rules and just breaks them all within like 20 minutes. It's like you're trying to blend in, and there's even that point in New Moon when they go, "Oh, Carlisle's supposed to be older than he looks, so we have to move." But they're just putting the graduation caps out there on Front Street, and Billy is the only one that goes, "That's weird. Why are there so many graduation caps?" And Bella's mom's just like, "Oh, that's so cute." And Billy's like, "All right, apparently no one is noticing this outside of me."
Or just everybody is just completely just is so self-absorbed that they don't look at the world around them.
Yeah, which is like, you don't have to be Encyclopedia Brown, just look up every now and then.
I mean, it's already established that Charlie is a terrible cop, a terrible criminal investigator. So I guess they thought they could get away with it. I mean, come on, how many hikers have gone missing in Forks since Bella arrived?
I mean, that's a really fair point. They're probably just like showing off now. like the Trinity Killer, like I'll use the hammer.
It's like, shit. I mean, Charlie kind of sucks as a cop. Do you really think that we could? Nah, we can't just like keep that shit up.
Yeah, like I will say, man, the bridesmaids for Bella, Lord have mercy, like, because this is where we're introduced to like Maggie Grace and all these characters who haven't factored in at any point, but who
are just getting introduced to now.
Yeah, but you get to see, these pale, tall white women with red eyes, aka, Hunter's kryptonite, and and I'm like, oh, hello, wedding party. But I appreciate that Anna Kendrick's Jessica, isn't it? I think is her name.
Yes,
is the only one who goes, oh, how pregnant is Bella? And
so how much do you think she's going to show? I mean, there's only one reason somebody gets married at 18, which, yeah, I've been in the military, and I'll tell you there are 2.
Okay, fair enough. Like, but I appreciate that she's one of the few people actually have the guts to actually say that shit. Because I went, and to your point, I remember kind of going like, okay, I've known enough people in the military where it's like, okay, maybe they get married right before someone ships off. But yeah, it's really like two reasons. I went, well, Edward's not going to the military anytime soon. So playing the odds. And ironically enough, Jessica was kind of right.
It's like, oh god, they fucking foreshadowed the goddamn demon baby.
Yeah, they
fuck this movie.
Yeah, and so I will say, I did appreciate their song from prom coming back to be their wedding song. That's like a rare bit of continuity that I went, oh, someone actually maybe sorta maybe
paid attention.
Yeah, exactly.
That was actually kind of a sweet moment. It reminded me a lot of if you follow the CW DC universe, when Barry and Iris finally had their wedding, they had Melissa Benoist sing the song that Barry used to propose to her. It reminded me a lot of that.
That's a good callback. And I mean, now granted, I'd way rather be watching The Flash, but but I really did appreciate the fact that happens. But the first, I'd say 25 minutes of this movie,
it's awkward.
Should just be called
it is awkward fucking comedy. It is just get all of these actors, some of whom this is probably the most screen time they've gotten in this entire franchise, and just have them ad lib and just not know when to cut.
Yeah, because Charlie,
like, and Emmett's the worst one because he's like, yeah, Bella, hope you gotten enough sleep the last 18 years because you ain't getting any now.
Yeah, and this
in front of her dad.
This first bit of the movie should just be called Charlie being tortured, because Charlie looks so sad. Like, I
mean, Charlie's been tortured for the last like 3 movies.
True, but he's
for Charlie Swan, his existence with Bella is just pain.
But he gets a great zinger where they go, "Oh, he gave you this thing that your grandma had because you needed something, old in your life outside your mother." And I was like, "Damn, that shade!"
Oh,
like Charlie
and yeah, Billy Burke is too good for this franchise. Even like little moments before the actual wedding, and he's like going in to see Bella, is like, I know, I look hot.
So as awkward as what's his name, as Emmett's speech is, it is nothing compared to Jessica's speech, because holy
the entire time it was like, oh yeah, Bella, congratulations to them, even though Bella's not the smartest girl in school or the valedictorian or any of that. And then she just slowly gets quieter until she's like speaking at Michael Cera volume.
Well, she's worked with him enough. I mean, yeah. But it is creepy how she's like, oh, Bella is like everyone else, totally mesmerized by Edward.
It's like she's proposing a 3-way with the two of them at their fucking wedding. Which speaking of 3-ways, so like I think at some point during the reception, Edward takes Bella into the backyard behind the woods, and she goes like, this is your wedding present, and it's just Jacob in the fucking woods.
Yeah. Which
it's like
weird.
He's about to propose a threesome with the 3 of them. It's like, hey, I know you're about to turn into a vampire, and we're technically married now, so as long as everyone's consenting, it's all Gucci.
Yeah, it's weird.
And also because maybe Jasper was in charge of the guest planning. He was like, that boy too dark to come into this wedding.
Right. Like, it's really funny to hear like other Cullens show up, and they're from like Alaska and shit. It's like, really? Like Really? Okay. But yeah, like Maggie Grace shows up, but she apparently can't handle being around humans, so she has like a breakdown, and then that's just
No. I think they imply that that Laurent, the Eddie Gathegi, the guy who is destined to just die in blockbusters unnecessarily.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he was the vampire that got killed by the wolves in New Moon, and that was her mate.
Oh,
so she's like pissed
right.
that she has to be around that the werewolves are like at the wedding too.
Should we just start calling him like Sean Coffee Bean? Should we just start calling him that? since that's his role apparently.
It's like adapt to this.
Right. Trust me, it's my biggest complaint about First Class. It bugs the fuck out of me still to this day. But
it's like, wait, my superpower is not die, but I guess Jasper was just in the writer's room that day.
Right, exactly. I did love Billy's speech though, where he's just like, Edward will be a great husband.
He'll be a great husband. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah, I know it's because I'm a cop. You can find out things.
Good judge of character.
Yeah.
You're good at finding out things. And the entire speech, I was just like, I mean, are you though?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of it's a bit in the sake of irony in that sense, because yeah, is he a good cop? No, you're not. But you keep trying, Billy. But
poor Charlie.
Right. But Bella and Edward head off to their honeymoon. I did laugh really hard, I will say unintentionally, when they're driving away in their limo or whatever, and you hear Jacob howl Leslie Lee. like I know it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be treated as this emotional moment, and I was laughing my ass off this morning. I was like, "Oh, that's right."
I forgot that happened. It's like, ow!
Yeah, it's like, God damn, like this is just dumb. And I would like to point out they dated for 5 months before he left for during New Moon. 5 months, and that warrants this wedding and all of this. I just went, y'all, like, come on, like, really?
Yeah, but I think the entire point, this is basically just a repressed teen girl fantasy, and repressed teen girl fantasy are topped with like misinterpreting the end of The Graduate, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Weird Science who cuts off an hour early.
It's like a Ruby Sparks, except you don't go past the second act.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first 5 minutes of Promising Young Woman. Like, what's everyone upset about?
Well, yeah, it's like Last Night in Soho, except you cut out at the second act.
Actually, that's actually another very good comparison.
Except you don't show anything past the first 40 minutes.
Which, by the way, watch Last Night in Soho if you've not seen it. It's
fucking tastic, 10 out of 10 movie. I
Absolutely.
Loved it.
Same. But so they go off to Brazil, right? Is that where they're at?
Some vaguely South American country. I think they were speaking Spanish, so that could be anywhere from like Mexico to Argentina or Belize.
So here's what's up. This is where it goes back to the whole Cohen's are rich thing, because they go to Isle Esme. Like, it's named Esme.
It's a dope ass villa too.
Yeah, and so again, Cohen's money. How?
I mean, they've lived through at least one economic depression. I don't know how. Well, 2 if you count Black Monday. So how the hell do they still have this much money?
Yeah, I would like. Do these have a bunch of like comic book cards somewhere? And they're like, we got this pristine Superman comic.
They just kept a bunch of original Jordans from when they were first dropping.
They invest in Krispy Kreme back
they bought Apple stock of like.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's weird, but. So okay, so they get to
did Carlisle just spend a couple of years Wolf of Wall Street eating it up, or
which again would be a movie I'd rather watch than this. but we go ahead and get that whole sequence of them getting to the island. And I will say, the way it's filmed, I actually really like switching locales up. But actually, now I will say
it makes this world feel much bigger than I think it deserves to be. And switching locales, it is interesting to see. However, I think they forget that Edward is supposed to sparkle in sunlight.
Yeah, they okay. So A, they definitely do, and B, whenever they're in water at night, it doesn't look like they're there. It really looks like
it looks like some green screen, and also
yes, it does.
And also, sure, we both been in water during times like that. It's not sexy.
Nah. It's just like
it is. Okay. It is what a repressed person would think is sexy.
Yeah, it's
just salt water getting up everywhere. That's just like asking for a yeast infection.
Yeah, that's one reason why I'm not a big fan of sand. It's just like, sand, like,
okay,
sand.
Anakin.
Yeah, right.
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
It's
which my headcanon Jasper, to fuck with the nerds, he wrote that line into the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, God damn it. But so okay, honeymoon. Bella's been waiting. I'm a virgin. She even tells Bill. Bella's paper towel man.
Bella's been waiting. She, like, a very awkward scene, tells Charlie that.
Yeah,
and Edward's apparently been waiting for like 100 years, which I call bullshit.
That man, like there's no
come on
way.
That he didn't get none while he was like violent Batmaning it up.
Yeah, I'm sure he saved some woman from being like assaulted, and they're probably like thank you, like a week later or some shit. Like, yeah, trust me, he for sure has like left behind the like spread eagled corpses of a couple ladies around. Damn, Jesus. That's when he turned them when they were. If there's a vampire who only turned people when they were spread eagle, that would actually be a franchise I'd be interested in watching. But Edward goes ahead and Bella's like, all right, well, I used a few human minutes, and I just have to add, like, look, you're peeing on body hair, you do you, but if you need to shave, why are you doing that?
Why did you wait until like an hour before?
Thank you.
But let's be real. I used to be a single man in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you gotta like do a little self-care.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do that shit the night before.
Absolutely. Or like, yeah, that was just something I went, come on, girl. Like,
you gotta groom yourself beforehand. That's just like piss poor planning.
And I will say too, her letting Alice pack her bags is like, I wouldn't let anyone pack for me, honestly.
Hell no.
Like, I love my partner. I would not let my partner pack for me, because sometimes I like
same.
Because it's like, okay, like I want to wear this night. Maybe I want to have multiple outfit options, because I'm that person when I pack. Like,
yeah. Same. I'm that type of dude. Like, any trip I take, I pack at least like 3 pairs of shoes.
Boom.
Like,
same.
One for the train, one for the gym, and then one for shits and giggles.
Yeah, because like I'll do a couple pairs if I'm going to be out somewhere, or if I might go to a club, I might pick a couple different pairs there. So I'll take 3-4 pairs of shoes with me when I usually go on vacation. So.
Yeah, it's like potentially a trust issue that I still have. I will not let my partner pack for me.
Yeah, totally.
Fair. And I'm that dude. It's like, if we're going somewhere, I'm packed up, ready to go. Suitcase is set aside the night before.
Yeah.
The only thing is like my phone, my AirPods, and my laptop, which is still sitting on the charger.
Same. Like I like to get all that stuff packed as early as possible. Like
anyway,
but
Bella,
I digress.
Bella, I digress. There's a saying in the military: piss poor planning leads to poor performance.
Yeah, makes sense. And
You planned this shit out, Bella.
Yeah,
This is
it's weird. It's a weird just sequence because then they do have sex and it just looks like the most uncomfortable. Like I could rub two batteries together and it's essentially the same thing as the sex that's happening in this movie.
It's like less sexy than the fucking cut scene from Toy Story 3 of the like lost years in between where Andy gets curious, so he starts rubbing Jesse and Buzz Lightyear together.
It's basically it's basically that hot coffee mini game from San Andreas. Like it's such a weird like
it's like the sex mini games in the God of War game.
Yeah, or like Leisure Suit Larry or anything. Like it's a very weird sex scene. It doesn't feel sexy.
Which to be fair, like whose first time it is actually like that?
Oh, absolutely. Like, but he's been around for 100 years. I would expect him to know, something. But
I mean, he's a like, for the movie's argument's sake, he's a virgin, so of course he doesn't know what he's doing either.
Yeah, which I call bullshit on that. but of course, what happens is Edward ends up going ahead and knocking Bella up, which is again part of this movie's propaganda of all it takes is one time. If you have sex with someone who's not your partner, you will die and burn in the depths of hell. Like it's
don't have sex. You will get pregnant and you will die. Exactly. Here's some condoms.
Yeah, exactly. Pray the gay away. Use that leftover stick of butter to calm your urges. Don't have sex. Like that's like girls buy an electric toothbrush. You can get one from your church. Like the movies,
it's like girls. Let's be real. The boys at church, they don't know what they're doing either.
And let's be clear: if you are an 18-year-old girl, I would recommend using an electric toothbrush over most 18-year-old guys. Anyway, the toothbrush will actually be willing to meet your needs.
Yes. Take it from two former 18-year-olds.
Yeah,
we don't know what we're doing either.
Yeah, if I didn't have a shoehorn the first time I had sex with someone, I don't think I would have used that. But that's a whole other conversation for another podcast. But Edward knocks Bella up, and then the rest of the movie is the whole, will she keep the kid or won't she keep the kid? And
Edward is like, it's not even 0.3 seconds of like realizing that Bella might be pregnant. It's like, Carlisle, we gotta go. We gotta 86 this baby ASAP. And he's like, don't worry, Carlisle will get that out of you.
So here's the thing it's
like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And he is quick.
It's such a hard leap to make because let's be clear. If we look at something like, like the Percy Jackson movies, like gods having sex with regular humans is not a far-fetched concept. So when the movie goes...
It is not. There is an entire genre of fiction devoted to that.
Exactly. So when you hear the movie go, this has never happened before, even opening night in a theater, I'm like, really?
Hasn't it though?
I'm like, this is never.
So like no vampire in the history of anything has ever decided to raw dog a human.
Because let's be real, Dracula would do that shit. Dracula would go to a club. There'd be some girl. Like,
we see Lee Pace in like this and the next movie. You are telling me that guy doesn't fuck?
Yeah, hard.
Let's be real. Have you seen the Cullens? I mean, you be with somebody for like 50 years, you get a little experimental, you try introducing a third person, which as long as everyone's consenting, cool.
Yeah. As long as everyone's consenting, who cares? But it is a
Alice and Jasper have for sure tried introducing a third person.
Oh, Alice will cuck him with like the black vampire's like vengeful son at some point or whatever. He'll be like, I'm doing this for you, father. Like it'll be, but it is such a leap to make that this has never happened anywhere else. So when they're trying to look up information, they're like, no, hasn't happened anywhere else. It's like, no.
Like a Yahoo search. Yahoo search vampire demon baby.
Because Carlisle basically says Bella's fucked without saying she's fucked. Like, Carlisle is like, yeah, fam, like, I don't know what to tell you.
And the staunchest defender for, like, because, of course, Bella's an idiot. So she's like, it's like, so she goes to the one person who has just vicariously wanted a baby for like 100 years. And Rosalie, who is like, yes, we got to get that fetus out of you. It is killing Bella. And to this movie's credit, the effect that it does have when Bella is like emaciated with this baby
looks great.
Is fantastic.
It is. Like, I know it's a mixture.
This goes from like more boring couples retreat to full on David Cronenberg in like 2 seconds flat.
Yeah, and like the effect of it's a mixture of CGI and makeup. It's well fucking done because she just looks sickly, like at multiple points. And to your point,
yeah, she looks like Christian Bale in The Machinist sickly.
She really does, actually. She looks like Angelina Jolie. She was with Billy Bob. Like it's fucking it's fucking weird. But when you see her, Rosalie being so like, yep, you have to have the kid, like no matter what.
All life is sacred. Stop calling it a fetus. It's a baby.
And that's where
exactly this baby will come to term over Bella's dead body.
Yeah, this is when in hearing that,
which going again back to your point, when you're the first thing in writing class, you should not hear the author's voice in the character.
And Rosalie makes this flip,
and Stephanie Meyer's pulling the fucking Will Smith meme is like pro-life.
Yeah, it's ham-handed like a motherfucker. It's like
it's ham-handed, but to be fair, what in this franchise isn't?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
This franchise has always like 100% been straight up about that. This is just the fantasies of a horrifically repressed Christian woman trying to live out her sexual fantasies.
Yeah, it's one of those things though that while because Jacob's even talking to her like, look, this kid's gonna kill you.
This thing is killing you.
Like, you need to really consider your options. And here's where, for me as a guy, and look, I understand we're two men talking about pregnancy. Like, we could read all the fucking books in the world and still not know what the hell we're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, the fact that Bella really makes that decision and doesn't talk to Edward about it, it's like, okay, that's like, again, her having the final say, that's one thing, but not even talking to her partner about it. I'm like, girl, this is like 101 of you getting married. Like, this is kind of
this is 101 of the shit not to do.
Yeah. And so
which let's be honest, these entire movies have been the not to guide of a fucking relationship.
I mean, true, but it is one of those things I just went, yeah, okay, this is fucking absurd. And the moment she said, it's a boy, I can feel him, I went, okay, so it's clearly a girl. And that's where I remember watching this opening night and going, oh, it's a girl. Oh no. In my brain having that flip of going, why did they bring up imprinting in the last movie? That's so, oh god damn it, gonna imprint on this kid, isn't it?
It's like the worst consolation prize that you can. It's like not treated as anything other than a consolation prize. It's like, hey, Jacob, you don't get to fuck Bella, but you can fuck her daughter when she's old enough. It's
yeah.
Like, oh fuck, gross.
Yeah. Oh, hey baby, I'm gonna give you a nickname. I'm gonna call you Bella. Is that okay? Why are you gonna call me that? Don't worry about it.
Hey, don't mind if I say Bella if I accidentally howl Bella when I climax.
Right? Yeah. Put on these red contacts for me, all right, baby.
And they we'll get to it when we eventually discuss the next part. But every single like bit of dialogue about that, it's trying to like not frame it as pedophilia or as like something sinister. It's like it's not like that. It's not a romantic connection. It's just a very fiercely protective one that I can't let any other guy talk to her ever. It's like, yeah, that's possessive. That's fucked up too.
So somewhere Drake
it's like it doesn't turn romantic until she's 18. That's grooming, guy.
Somewhere Drake is watching this and going, "Thank you, someone gets me." Like it is so textbook grooming, and I know we're jumping ahead to your point, but when Jacob is trying to go like, "It's not like that. It's not like I meant to do it." It's like,
isn't it?
Like you're not helping yourself at all with any of the things you're saying, right?
The entire time I was like, "Isn't it, motherfucker?"
Like it's exactly what it looks like.
I was rooting for Bella to kill him at that point. It was like, yeah, fuck this dude.
Yeah, saying it's not like what it looks like is like Jason Biggs fucking a pie and going like, I'm not fucking a spy. It's like, it's exactly what it looks like, and you just don't have any sort of actual retort because you're a terrible person. And I will say the whole werewolf meeting about this, where there's just
it's like they smell evil. It's like that fucking. It's that fucking like a mermaid man scream.
The fact they're just communicating through their thoughts.
And I mean, the other option was like have the fucking like CG wolves' mouths move. I'd rather them do the telepathy.
I mean, yeah,
but they all sound exactly the same.
Exactly
is the issue.
So that was my point. Not, have them have one of those fucking tribal meetings or whatever, council meetings in human form, so I can actually connect who feels which way, like in the film. Because it's weird just seeing a bunch of werewolves that look basically the fucking same, and I'm like, wait, who feels which way about what? It's really jarring. And when we get to Rosalie holding the baby and Jacob is sneaking up on it like a horror film, it's basically that scene from Noah where Noah can kill the kid. Like
then it becomes a horror movie in a different sense.
Yeah, and this baby,
it is horrifying.
It is. It's like the baby in the Campaign when Will Ferrell punches him. Like it looks just like that.
It's worse than the baby in American Sniper.
Oh,
it's another case of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because there's like this horrifying footage of this like practical baby doll that they originally wanted to use, and it is terrifying.
Yeah,
it is like cat CGI levels of horror.
So I've seen that footage, and you're 1,000% correct. And I will say myself, if I understand that you had the CGI baby here, but the Campaign, at least it leads to a gag.
It leads to one of the funniest gags in the movie.
But this baby
ain't anybody gonna ask how my hand feels after punching that iron-like jaw of that baby,
right? But this movie, it's like the baby has Hydra programming and Zemo's reading off Rusted, like longing, like the baby has this look on his face, like whoa, like it looks confused, and then that's when Jacob imprints on it, and basically the last
he plays that whole like fucking I can't see me loving nobody but you.
it's Homer and Spider Pig, basically. Like Jacob sees his future with this infant growing up, thankfully, at least. At least the kid's growing up. At least she hasn't stopped at like age 4.
Not great, still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not great.
Still terrible. Do not misunderstand. But then, she gets to 18, thank God, in Jacob's case.
She gets to 18, and then the song changes to Pony.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. Someone call FIFA. There's grass on the field, but it's but it's one of those things that as you're watching this opening night, so keep in mind, I watched this shit opening night, and I'm sitting there. I had to put my jacket over my face because I was laughing so hard. I just went, y'all fuckers aren't even trying at this point.
I watched this like 2 days ago, and at like 3 a.m, and I'm pretty sure like my upstairs neighbors heard me because I like bumped into them on the elevator, like going to take my dog for a walk, and I just say like, "Hello, how you doing?" And they're just giving me the fucking death stares, like, oh fuck, they probably heard me cackling at the fucking reveal. And he just falls to his knees, like he just.
It's straight up like Bible movie. Like he just falls to his knees, like he cannot wrap his head around the fact that, oh my God, this baby. If there was myrrh and frankincense, it would have made way more sense for him to fall to his knees the way he did. It's insane. And through this, Bella, and I will say, I will give the movie credit for this. Bella breaks her back, and the way they shot that shit.
That baby straight up baned fucking Bella. It was like, I had wondered what would break first, your spirit or your body.
I am your reckoning. Like it's just like it breaks.
This birth will be your reckoning.
and so,
oh, very nice spine you got there. Be a shame if somebody exploded it.
So I will say, and this leads to one of my biggest issues in the movie, is that the films have been so inconsistent on how quickly it actually takes for you to turn. Because when James bites her in the first movie, it starts instantly. But my friend was saying, well, actually, technically, the turn does take overnight. I'm like, that's never been established because again,
and they show in Eclipse when Riley gets attacked, it starts happening immediately after she gets bitten.
Yeah, so the movies are just like all over the place on it, and you see Bella's body's like seam itself together, fucking like Power Ranger style, like the command center's being fixed. It's like, all right, fine, but it's just weird. It's a weird movie, and the whole, I know we mentioned in our Eclipse review, but the whole fact that Sam and the rest of the clan are like, yep, we're killing this baby, fuck it, who cares? And they're like, well, Jacob imprinted on this infant. That means that the treaty it's the most sacred of rules. Someone who a wolf imprints on can't be harmed in any way.
Okay, but it's like they're not pissed enough to like think of a loophole. It's like, okay, yeah, the baby won't be harmed, but fuck the Cullens.
Yeah, they could have still attacked the Cullens, not.
Yeah, and they like had a like rule is like if any of them bite a human, it's like treaties off.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah,
and it's like it's all Gucci by the end.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh yay, new mom. It's just like, oh god damn it, like it makes no sense. But just
it's the worst gender reveal party ever.
But just
only the second worst gender reveal party.
Yeah, right. But getting the final thoughts here, like. Okay, so like Deathly Hallows Part 1, I remember some people going like, I thought it was slow. I enjoyed Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I legitimately love Deathly Hallows Part 1. That is a movie that it is the only one that justifies splitting itself into 2 films because the final book of Harry Potter, it is so dense. It's like 1,000 pages long that there is no conceivable way that you can tell that entire story in the kind of manner that it deserves in one even pushing 3-hour film. It's just not feasible.
Yeah, and with this movie, it was clearly done because they went, we can make more money if we split this in two. Because do I think you could make this shit like that? Like, you could do I didn't even say this. You could do 1 3-hour movie and have parts 1 and part 2 done. You wouldn't need 2 separate movies. You could do that in 3. And, they're like, well, we like money, so what else does Summit have going on?
Yeah, because both part 1 and 2, they're both pushing they're both at least 2 hours a piece.
Yeah.
And they do not fucking need to be.
At all. And it's just...
There's a solid hour that could be cut out of both. And we get to the fucking point.
Yeah, it's one of those things I just went, all right, we don't need all this, but whatever. So I will simply say where the movie ends up, your eyes don't turn red until you start feeding on blood. And so the fact that Bella's eyes are red when she gets turned, I just went, all right, so you're not being consistent with anything. Cool, whatever. I'm gonna give this, oh God, I'm gonna give this a D for dumb. I think that's what because I wasn't because this didn't piss me off quite to the extent that New Moon did. Like New Moon, I remember going I kind of want everyone and everything to burn, but there's just this feels pointless. It's so much. It's so much happening and yet nothing happens. It's weirdly impressive. So you know what? Nah, D-. I'm sitting there talking about
You talked yourself into a D-.
Yeah,
goddamn.
D-. It's not an F because cinematography wise, there's some stuff I like, and I do. And there were
there is some solid cinematography in this film, which I will say for what they're given, I think this is bordering on Pattinson's best performance as Edward Cullen. Yeah. And Kristen Stewart actually manages to be pretty solid, especially more building off of this in the next film.
Yeah, because the next film is by far the most interesting Bella, which of course, they took.
Which of course, because she actually gets to participate in the action. Yeah, which is something that has been egregious about this entire franchise. It's Bella Swan, she's a worse character than the Sam Raimi MJ.
Yeah, in Sam Raimi MJ really is the first version of
the
Bella Swan.
Worst.
Yeah, but yeah, D-. I'm gonna stop at D-. But Nick, your final thoughts and grade, man.
Hey, this is not a good film, but just by the fucking virtue of how entertaining this film is, even on the most basic, just watch this as a bad film, I would be lying if I said I wasn't entertained by this and all of the just stupid decisions that happened in this film that I just cannot help but laugh at. But it's still nothing good happening. A lot is happening in this film, but at the same time, almost none of it matters because of how this franchise ends. And for that, the most I can give it is a D-.
Okay, that's fair. Because I will say part 2 is better than part 1, but it's largely because of the big X-Men fight and the fact that it turns into an X-Men film. 40 minutes in, and they just kind of go, we don't care.
It becomes an X-Men film. It sets up a lot of cool stuff for a climax that ultimately doesn't matter.
Yeah, which we'll get to that when we get to break down to part 2. But Nick, dude, thank you so much for your help, and tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on my personal Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick. You can find the podcast I do, The Afternoon Tune, on Twitch. We stream live every Friday, Saturday, every 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, at least, and twitch.tv/afternoon tune. You can find the show on YouTube, the condensed video versions, or if you work in an office and you can have headphones on, but you don't have the bandwidth to play video, we are on Spotify.
Boom. There you go.
And anywhere you listen to podcasts.
You can listen to The Real Pineapple, and you can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, Google, Amazon Music, Apple, was it Apple Music now? That's right, Apple Music, Spotify, at The Real Pineapple. And I'm trying to think where else. You can find us on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/JHunterRealPineapple. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Nick, thank you so much for your help, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure.
Again, no idea when we'll do Breaking Down Part 2, but we'll get that done. But everyone, get your COVID shot, wear your mask, please stay safe out there, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, Nick. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. I will stop this recording.